Today class, today I will be discussing to you about PHP functions. So if you could recall your Java before, it is somewhat like similar sa method. So parehong-pareho sila, magkaiba lang sila ng pangalan. So what is a function? So a PHP function, we consider this one as a piece of code that takes another input in the form of a parameter, process it, and then returns a value. Ibig sabihin, yung PHP function natin, isa siyang feature ng PHP wherein yung piece of code ninyo, you can use that over and over again. And then it accepts argument is inputs, and pwede siyang mag-return ng value. So PHP comes with thousands built-in functions. So through those 1,000 built-in functions, it can be called directly from within a script to perform a specific task. So PHP is a user-defined function. So besides built-in PHP function natin, it is also possible na mag-create ka ng sarili mong function. So a function is a block of statements that can be used repeatedly in a program. Gaya na sinabi ko kanina, you can use that over and over again. So a function will not execute automatically when a page loads. So hindi naman siya automatically na mag-load. Kailangan, you need to call. Kailangan mong gawa ng execution yung function mo para gagana siya. That's why a function will be executed by a call to that function. So this is an example, or this is the syntax of a PHP function. So a user-defined function, this declaration starts with the word function. So itong function na to, this is our keyword. So hindi siya pwedeng palitan. But here, this is our function name wherein pwede natin siyang palitan, pwede tayo gumawa ng sarili natin function name. Beside that function name is the open and close parenthesis wherein dito papasok yung parameters natin or yung arguments natin. And then, a block of code or curly braces wherein dito naman makikita yung code to be executed. So, lagi natin tatandaan that when every time na gagawa tayo ng isang function name, it should always start with a letter or underscore. So functions are not case sensitive, huwag tayong gagamit ng mga function that will start on numbers. Pareho siya when you're creating a class name, yung mga ganun. Or in PHP, diba, when you're creating a variable, hindi tayo pwedeng gumamit ng number muna. Kailangan you always start with a letter or an underscore. So in the example below, we created the function name write message. Opening curly braces indicates that the beginning of the function code and the closing curly brace indicates the end of the function. The function outputs hello world. So to call the function, just write its name followed by the brackets. So how we do that? Of course, try natin mag-code. Open natin yung folder natin. Gawa tayo ng file. Let's save that in a new folder. And then I call that one as CCSIT203. Let me name that one as index.php. Morning. So let's try kung na-save ko ba siya ng ayos. Let's name this one as built-in function. Built-in function for our title. So inside a body, of course, we need to open our PHP. Then, we need to close our PHP. Oops. So, on the instruction here, we need to create a function. So, gawa muna tayo ng function. And then, we can create our own function name. So, pwede naman akong maglagay ng function na bago. I call that one as CCSIT. And then, our open and close parentheses followed by our curly braces. And then, from here, it is where our code will be executed. So, gawa tayo dito ng statement. And So, paano natin i-call yung function natin? To do that, you just need to copy whatever function name na ginawa mo, and then you just paste it there, and then save it, and then run it. How to run? Go to your browser. Type localhost / our localhost, and then / our folder, and then hit enter. So that's our output. So whatever is inside our function, ano yung nandito sa loob ng function natin, yun at yun yung i-output ng ating function name na kinol natin. So kailangan natin siyang i-call. Kasi pag hindi natin siya kinol, halimbawa, that's an example, if you run that one, wala po tayong may output. That's why every time that you use or you created a function, kailangan mo siyang i-call by typing in the function name outside the curly braces. Then save that one and then run it. Next. So next is all about PHP arguments. So information can be passed to function through arguments. So an argument is just like a variable. Arguments are specified after the function name inside the parentheses. So you can add as many arguments as you want, just separate them with comma. So paano naman po yan ginagawa? So this is an example. So a function with a function name, family name, with a variable name. And then inside the curly braces, i-echo niya yung ating argument connected dito sa isang apelyido. And then, of course, we need to call that function. And inside that one, maglalagay tayo ng value ng arguments natin. So, whatever the value of those arguments that we inserted inside our function name, yun yung may output niya. So, halimbawa, you created or you copied all those function names and then you put a lot of arguments or variables or the value of those variables and those arguments, then output niya lahat-lahat ng nandun sa loob niya. Let's make that one as an example. Halimbawa dito, I'll be creating a variable BSIT. And then, I will be inserting here 2A. Then, gawa ulit ako ng isa. And then, 2B. Pagdating dito, papalitan ko ito ng color, yung variable natin, which is the BSI. And then, of course, magdadagdag din ako dito ng break para mag-proceed siya sa next line. So, ibig sabihin that on my code, since the created function name is a CCSIT, I put an argument. And the value of that argument is here outside. Nandito siya sa ating function name na kinol natin. And this is the value of that certain argument. So, if we're going to run that one, bali, ito po yung magiging output. Hi BSIT 2A, hi BSIT 2B. So, pwede tayong maglagay ng unlimited na value ng ating arguments. As long as kung isa yung ginamit natin na argument, kailangan isa din yung nakalagay na value niya dito. Kasi if we add another value here, halimbawa, naglagay tayo ng ganyan. And then, if we run that one, control this. Wala po siyang i-output maliban dito sa isang argument na. Hindi po na niya i-output, palitan natin siya ng 2C. Hindi na niya i-output whatever another argument has been placed beside our first value of that variable. Kailangan kung isa yung ginamit mo na argument, isa lang din yung magiging value niya in passing or in our function name. Pag pinas natin yung argument ng ating function name. Okay, next. So, this is an example when two arguments has been passed. So, dito naglagay tayo kanina ng isa. And then, we could add another one followed by a comma. So, pwede tayong gumawa ulit ng another variable. So, pwede natin ilagay na you're from College of Arts and Sciences under BSIT. And hi BSIT 2A. And then, and variable class. And then, halimbawa, yung BSI, yung 2B naman, gawin na lang natin ito na ISPSC. Tapos, yung isa will be coming from NSPSC. So, if I'm going to run that once, since naglagay tayo dito ng dalawang argument, kailangan yung value ng dalawang arguments natin is dalawa din yung naka-assign sa kanya. So, if we're going to run that one, that will be the output. Hi BSIT 2A and ISPSC. Hi BSIT 2B and IRPSC. Okay, let's proceed to the next topic. So, PHP is a loosely typed language. Bakit nga ba nasabi na ang PHP is a typed language, loosely typed language? Because PHP automatically associates a data type to the variable depending on its value. Since the data types are not set in a strict sense, you can do things like adding a string to an integer without causing an error. So if you could recall our discussion about the logical operators, wherein naglagay tayo doon ng a data type integer equal to a string. And then, pag in-output natin siya is nagiging true siya. So, that's what we call, kung bakit siya natatawag na loosely typed siya. Kasi, though they have different data types, binabasa ng ating PHP na kahit na magkaiba sila ng data types, they are still both numbers. Kumbaga, pareho pa rin yung ina-output nila. Unless you use that identical, yung tatlong equal sign na ginamit natin before, dun pa lang pumapasok na nagiging strict yung PHP. And sa PHP, pagdating naman sa coding din natin, there is a keyword na ginagamit natin kung saan naging strict din, pwede natin gawin strict yung ating mga codes para pag nagkakaroon tayo ng pag ginamit natin yung integer and then we want to test that one if that is we want to add an integer to a string. Pag ginamit natin yung strict sense is magkakaroon na siya ng error. Sasabihin na ni PHP that, oh, that data type is an integer, you cannot add that one into a string. So, kaya kailangan lagyan natin siya ng strict sense. Okay, I'll be showing that code later. So, in PHP 7, type declarations were added. This gives us an option to specify the expected data type when declaring a function. And by adding the strict declaration, it will throw a fatal error if the data type is matched. So, let me show you an example. Pag halimbawa, you add a data type na string and integer without adding the strict. Pag naglagay ng strict natin, pwede pa rin natin siya i-add. So, allow me to edit our code. Okay. Declare muna tayo ng integer and then variable a. And then, an integer natin ulit. Another integer with the variable b. So, I want to return this one. Return natin using our arithmetic operators. Of course, i-echo natin yung ating function name and then lagyan natin siya ng boss na value. So as you could see here, I have an argument integer with a variable a with a value of 5. And then a variable data type integer with a variable b with a value of a string 5. So string yung nandito, ito naman is an integer, though we declared inside our arguments that they are both string. Pero pagdating na ng value niya dito sa labas ng ating function, we declare that our b variable is a string. Pero since hindi tayo naging strict, so dito pumapasok kung bakit nasasabi na loosely type ang PHP. So if I'm going to run this one, makikita nyo na in-output niya is 10. Ibig sabihin that though this is an integer and this is a string, binabasa ni PHP that they are still both numbers. So, we need to add, kailangan tayong mag-add ng strict type para pag nagkaroon tayo ng ganun na code, magiging strict yung codes, yung output natin, and i-declare na niya yan as an error. So, how do we declare our strict type? So, strict type is equal to 1. Ibig sabihin, if you could recall our binary, 0 and 1. 0 is off, 1 is on. Ibig sabihin that this is true. So, kailangan strict siya. So, how we code that one? So, in declaring a strict types, kailangan yung strict type requirement natin is nandun siya sa pinakataas. Siya yung unang dapat na babasahin ng code natin. Diba? Every time that a code has been run, it comes from the top going to the bottom. So, kailangan talaga yung declare strict types natin is nandun lang siya sa may taas. So, how to do that? Of course, we need to open our PHP. We need to declare. I-declare natin yung ating strict type. And strict underscore type is equal to 1. Then, we need to close our PHP. So, if I'm going to run this code, so, naglagay na ako ng strict type. May strict type na siya. Pagdating dito sa ating integer at variable, pag niran na natin yan, ibig sasabihin na niya, oops, fatal error. Ayan, arguments 2 must be of type integer, string given call. So, ibig sabihin, naglagay tayo ng integer at string. Kaya hindi natatanggapin ng ating PHP or i-output na niya ang kanyang na error ito. So, kailangan, pag naglagay tayo dito ng integer, kailangan yung value niya dito should also be an integer. So, if I'm going to run that one, magiging output na niya is 2. Pwede rin siya, halimbawa, you want to use your double data type. And then, if I'm going to run that one, sabi niya, double will be interpreted as a class name. Did you mean float? So, palitan lang natin siya ng float. Ayan. So, ayaw niya ng double. Mas gusto niya si float. So, float and float. Ibig sabihin, these are both floating numbers. Control S. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, we also had what we call the PHP default argument value. So the following example shows you how to use a default parameter. So if we call the function, for example this one, halimbawa we're going to call the function in the set height na walang argument, it takes the default value as an argument. Halimbawa this one. So from here, we have this function and then our function name set name with a data type of an integer with a variable minimum height with a value of 50. So we're going to call, i-call natin yung function natin outside our function. So dito, naglagay tayo ng value ng ating minimum height which is 350. Pero,
since meron na siyang value dito, i-disregard niya yung value na naka-declare dito sa loob ng ating function name. Dito sa loob ng arguments natin. But, if you call a function na walang laman, whatever value that you declared inside the arguments, yun na po yung magiging default value. So, let's make an example. Output natin dito, since meron tayong na-declare dito na value ng ating parameter, i-output niya si 20. Pero pagdating dito, since wala tayong dineclared na value, automatically, kukunin niya yung default na value inside our argument, and yun yung magiging output niya. So, tingnan natin ang echo break. And if we're going to run that one and define variable b, wait lang. Echo So, asan yung code natin? Ayan yung code natin. So, dito sa ating, sa labas ng function natin, kinall natin ngayon yung function natin. Since eto may value na siya na 20, yun ang i-output niya. So, we echo RA, which is our 20. We echo RA, but walang value. Kaya, whatever the default value inside our parameter, yun naman na yung magiging output niya. So, we also had what we call returning values. So, ginagamit naman natin returning values to return a value. So, kailangan natin gamitin yung return statement natin. So, for this example, of course, naging strict na naman tayo. Since we use an integer, kailangan lahat ng ipapass natin na value ng ating arguments should also be an integer. So, we declared a function with a function named sum, with an integer data type with a variable x, an integer data type with a variable y. So, nag-create tayo dito ng formula using our arithmetic operators. So, we're going to add our variable x and then our variable y. And then, we're going to return whatever that formula is. So, pagdating dito, outside our functions, i-call naman na natin yung function name natin, maglalagay ulit tayo ng value ng mga arguments natin. So, this, tinawag natin itong mga parameters. So, etong mga parameters na to, ito yung mga value ng arguments natin. So, the x, ang value niya is 5, ang y, ang value niya is 10. So, if we're going to return the value of 5 and 10, ang i-return niya is a 15. Likewise, dito sa 7 and 15, ang i-return niya is 20. And here, ang i-return naman niya is 6. So, we also had PHP return type declarations. So, PHP 7 also supports type declarations for the return statement, like with the type declaration for function arguments. By enabling the strict requirement, it will throw a fatal or error on a type mismatch. So, to declare a type for the function return, add a colon and the type right before the opening curly bracket when declaring the function. Dito naman is that when you're declaring, naging strict ka pagdating sa pag-declare mo ng mga function mo. So, pagdating doon sa parameters or sa arguments is that kailangan, if it's really an integer, kailangan ilagay mo at the end na that is an integer. Yeah, just like this example. So, I had here a function with a function name add numbers, and then data type float with a variable a float b, data type float with a variable b. So, i-strict ko din siya that this should, pagdating dito, itong dalawang to is talagang float lang dapat. So, pag naglagay ka dito ng integer and you declared here na float siya, magkakaroon siya ng error. So, i-return niya whatever value inside our parameter. So, 1.2 plus 5.2. So, let's try to code that one para makita natin kung ano nga ba yung magiging effect pag hindi natin sinunod yung pagiging strict ng ating code. Let's try, pag naglagay tayo dito ng bot integer, kung ano yung magiging output niya. Pero hindi mo siya clear na. So, kailangan natin lagyan ng decimal point para ang output natin will always be a float. So, passing an arguments by reference. So, how to pass an argument by reference? So, in PHP, arguments are usually passed by value, which means that a copy of the value is used in the function, and the variable that was passed into the function cannot be changed. So, when a function arguments is passed by reference, changes to the argument also change the variable that was passed in. So, to turn a function argument into a reference, the AND operator is used. So, I had here an example, a function with function name add5. Tapos, meron siya ditong nakalagay na value or argument. And I want to pass whatever value na nandito sa labas. So, I had here operator. So, the value, use a shorthand operator, plus is equal to 5. So, ano nga kaya yung value ng $value? So, check on the code. So, nag-declare dito ng variable na with the value of 2. And then, uses or it calls our variable here, our function name here na at 5. And then, i-call niya ngayon, ipapass niya yung argument natin. So, we pass an argument 2. So, pag-pass natin ng argument 2, i-add niya ngayon dito sa loob ng ating function name. So, ang value ng ating function name ang value ng arguments natin here will be 2 plus 5 is equal to 7. Try nga natin i-run para ma-check natin kung tama. Okay, don't forget our AND operator. Then dito will be we declare our variable A, and then our shorthand operator 5. Then outside our function, gawa tayo ng new variable. Then lagyan natin ng value which is 2. And then call natin yung CCSIP natin, this one. And then lagyan natin, call natin, ang magiging value na niya will be our variable B. So, kumbaga is pinasa niya, ipapasa niya ngayon sa passing the argument. Then, we're going to echo our variable B. So, I think this will be 7. Because we have here a function name with a variable A. Yung value ng variable A natin is 5. So, we will be passing the argument. Ipapasa natin yung value ng ating argument. Pagpasa natin ng value ng argument natin, it will be 2. So, 2 plus 5 will be 7. So, if I'm going to run this one, ayun, 7, 9. So, paikot-ikot lang yan. Basahin nyo lang ng maayos yung code natin. So, as you could see from here, this is our function name. Kinol niya ngayon yung laman or yung value ng 2 dito. So, magiging ito, this one will become 2. Ipapasa niya ngayon dito sa argument natin. Pagpasa niya dito sa argument natin, yung variable A natin, magpa-plus siya ng ating pinasa na argument which is the 2, and then ipa-plus niya ngayon dito sa value ng argument A natin to have the total of 7. Okay. Next is all about arrays. So, actually nakahapyawan na natin yung arrays before nung nandoon tayo sa array operators, kung paano natin even in our for each looping, na-discuss na rin natin yung arrays. So, pahapyawan na rin natin since nandito naman na siya sa slide. So, an array stores multiple values in one single variable. Pero doon kasi is that I just declare this as a single array na kung ano yung content doon sa loob ng array as it is. Dito kasi we will be discussing about indices, about the value and the keys. So, like for this example, we had a variable car with an array of Volvo, BMW, and Toyota. So, sa ating mga IT, when every time that we count numbers, we start, pag magbibilang tayo, especially pagdating sa mga indices natin, we always start from 0. So, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, ibig sabihin, dito sa loob ng array natin, the first value or yung first na na-declare natin dito is, the index is 0. So, ibig sabihin, this one is 0, this one is 1, this one is 2. That's why, nung in-output siya, magiging I like Volvo, BMW, and Toyota. So, what is an array? An array is a special variable which can hold more than one value at a time. If you have a list of items, halimbawa meron kang list ng cars, ng fruits, ano yung mga ilalagay mo sa loob ng arrays, for example, in the database, kung the number of students inside the database, yan. So, lahat yun is magiging array siya. If you're going to call those one, kung i-output mo na siya, magiging single variable lang siya, pero, halimbawa, student, single variable, pero yung laman niya na nanggaling dun sa database natin, that will be an array. So, yung first name niya, yung middle name niya, yung last name niya, lahat yun is naka-array type na siya pagdating na ng pag-call natin ng mga database. So, how do we create an array? So, this is the syntax for an array, and then kailangan natin yung open and close parenthesis, followed by a semicolon. So, yung three types ng arrays natin, we have what we call the index arrays when we start from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Meron din tayong associative arrays when we add additional keys, pag nag-name keys na tayo. And then, we have the multi-dimensional arrays. So, arrays containing one or more arrays. So, we also had a keyword na count. Ibig sabihin naman, if you use the word count, it return the length. Kung ilan yung bilang na nandun sa loob ng array. Kung kanina, indexing, we start from 0. Pag counting naman, of course, we start from 1. So, if tatanungin dito, how many elements are inside that array, you count 1, 2, 3. If they're going to ask you how many indices, what indices na nakapaloob kay Volvo, you're going to say that that comes from index 0. So, that's the difference pagdating ng indexing and then our keyword na count. So, these are the two ways on how we create the index. Yung kanina, we start from 0. Ito, we declared a car variable with the value of array na ang laman niya, mga elements niya is si Volvo, si BMW, and Toyota. So, pwede yan, i-echo na lang natin itong si cars, and then lalabas na agad itong laman niya, or yung mga elements niya. Or we could do it manually. Pwede tayong mag-indexing. Halimbawa, we call the variable car. Ilalagay na natin yung index niya, which is has an equal of Volvo. Same likewise, nalagay tayo ng index 2 na may value na BMW. Index car, index 2 with the value of Toyota. So, let's try to code that one para mas maintindihan. We have the dollar card, and then it's equal to array. Since BMW is on our index 0, magiging output natin will just be a BMW. So, likewise, pag gusto natin ulit mag-concatenate, i-output natin lahat ng elements inside our array. Let's start from here. And then, concatenate using our dot. Lagay tayo ng 1, lagay tayo ng 2. If we're going to run that one, automatic na lalabas BMW, wala nang spacing. To add a spacing, concatenate. Lagay tayo ng double quote, then concatenate. double quote, concatenate. So, run natin para magkaroon sila ng spacing. Control space. Let's put a space. Control S. So, may spacing na tayo. Kapag nagko-concatenate tayo ng space from a certain variable, yan, we use the dot to concatenate. Lagay tayo ng double quote for the string. Lagyan nyo ng space para magkaroon ng space in between our two variables. So, meron din tayong tinatawag na looping pagdating sa mga index. So, we already tried that one nung nag-for each tayo ng looping. Pero dito naman, for loop will be used. So, if you could recall our for looping, pag tingin mo pa lang sa for loop mo, alam mo na kung gaano or hanggang saan magi-stop yung looping natin. So, for our for looping, we initialize, magi-initialize tayo, gagawa tayo ng condition, and then magi-increment tayo. So, for this code, the initialization for the for loop start with the index 0. Start siya sa index 0. And then, if you're going to check on the car length, ginamit niya yung count. Ibig sabihin, bibilangin niya ilang elements yung nandoon sa loob ng arrays natin. So, binilang niya. So, 1, 2, and 3. So, ang magiging value nito will be 3. So, pagdating ng for looping natin, ibig sabihin na since ginamit niya yung count, kung gaano karami nandoon sa loob ng elements natin, and it start with initialize of 0, automatic mababasa mo na agad yan na mag-increment siya ng 1, mag-increment siya ng 1. As long as the condition is true, the looping will continue. And if you could see from here the condition, malalaman mo na agad that whatever elements inside our array, i-output na niya lahat since ginamit niya yung variable or yung keyword natin, na count. Okay, let's try to code that one para mas maintindihan. Length na lang yung gamitin. And then, our count keyword. And then, I'll be calling our variable cars para mabilang niya kung at ilan yung elements na nandoon sa ating array. And then, for our for loop, so, ginamit natin, ayan, nagkaroon tayo ng initialization ng 0. And then, we will be calling our variable car length. And then, echo natin yung ating cars. Indexing our cars, of course. And then, our variable I. Kailangan ulit natin ng break para it goes to our next line. So, if I'm going to run that one, this will be the output. So, binilang niya, oops, meron kang 3 elements. So, yun yung length natin. So, I'm going to test. I-test ko ngayon yung length niyan. So, ilan ba yung value, yung element mo na gusto mong i-looping? So, since the condition is true, I will loop until the end of that element inside that array. We also have what we call the associative arrays. So, associative arrays are arrays that use name keys that you assign to them. So, gagamit naman na tayo dito ng keys. So, when we assign an array, meron na siyang name, meron pa siyang key na naka-assign sa kanya. Halimbawa, here, Peter natin, may naka-assign sa kanya na 35. Likewise, kay Ben, may naka-assign din sa kanya na 37. And kay Joe, may naka-assign din sa kanya na 43. So, if you're going to output that, you will just use that, gagamitin lang natin yung name niya, yung name keys niya, and then makukuha na niya yung value. Wait na. Copy ko na muna to. So, gawa tayo ng bago. So, gawin na lang natin dito, yung BMW, the price of the BMW will be 15M. Bawal lang yan. 15. Tapos, si Volvo naman natin, magkakaroon din siya ng value na 25. Yung Toyota natin, magkakaroon naman siya ng value na 35. So, tanggalin natin lahat yan. So, I'm going to echo. I-echo ko muna si variable cars na may name na BMW. So, automatic, kung ano yung value ng BMW natin, yun naman na yung i-output niya. If we're going to run that one, syntax error. Dito, nagkulang ako ng greater than. Unmatch. Okay? Bukan ko, wala akong for looping. Ayun. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, since I call the name BMW inside our array, whatever the value of that BMW, yun naman po yung i-output. Yun naman na po yung mai-output. Likewise, I want to output whatever value of that Volvo. So, pag ginamit ko naman si Volvo, whatever value of Volvo, yun naman na yung mai-output. Kung kanina, in our single array, in our single associative array natin, is that ito lang yung laman ng array natin, all those elements. And when we call those elements, we use indexing. Nag-i-index tayo. Pagdating naman ng associative arrays natin, ito, ibig sabihin, meron na siyang value. So, i-call na lang natin yung name keys natin, automatic, whatever the value of those name keys, yun naman na yung magiging output pag kinol na natin yung elements natin doon sa loob ng arrays. So, meron din tayong tinatawag na loop through an associative array. Kung kanina nung nag-looping tayo, kinount din natin kung we use the for loop para ma-output natin lahat ng elements inside our single array. Dito naman, if we want to output whatever is inside our associative array, we use the for each. So, if you could recall our for each, i-call muna natin yung variable natin and then the value. Pero pagdating ng associative arrays, you need to declare a new variable to call whatever value of those elements inside our arrays. So, i-code ulit natin yan. So, for each. So, ang ginamit ko na variable natin is the car. Ayun, yung cars. So, ang key na gagamitin ko naman is, hininin natin sa variable x. And then, magkakaroon tayo dito ng variable x value. Ayan. So, eto, we declared a new variable para yung value inside our arrays will be declared. So, pagdating dito sa ating code, going to run this one, I forgot again the semicolon. Nakakalimutan ko lagi si semicolon. Anong meron kay semicolon na lagi kong nakakalimutan? Expecting in variable or dollar is line 12. Line 12 daw. I forgot. The value is dollar x underscore value. 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 Lagyan natin ang space. Space. Ayan. So, our key. Ito yung key natin. We call this one our key. Siya yung BMW. And then yung value ng key natin is 15. So the value of BMW is 15. The value of Volvo is 25. The value of Toyota is 35. So napakasimple lang naman yung for each natin, di ba? Kung ano yung laman na nandoon sa loob ng arrays natin, whatever elements is inside that array, if we use the for each looping, is i-output niya lahat-lahat. Just like that, ang ginamit lang natin nung nag-for each looping tayo, kasi single lang kasi yung output natin yung nagpapakang example. Pero dito, nagkaroon na siya ng key, nagkaroon na siya ng value. So, next is a multi-dimensional array. It is an array containing one or more arrays. So, PHP supports multi-dimensional arrays that are 2, 3, 4, or more level deep. However, arrays more than 3 level deep are hard to manage for most people. So, the dimension of an array indicates the number of indices you need to select on an element. For 2-dimensional array, you need 2 indices to select an element. For 3-dimensional array, you need 3 indices to select an element. So, how could I explain that one? Hanap ako ng gagawin ko para mag-drawing lang ako para ma-explain ko kung paano ba yung sa arrays natin. Halimbawa, I have here a box. Magkaya na box. Gusto pala yung stage. Sa loob ng box, wala kasi itong ano eh. Hindi ako pwede mag-insert dito na hindi pwede mag-insert ng table. Kaya grid lines, numbers. Muna na tayo ng additional box. And then additional box. Nakakita ka ng additional box. Halimbawa, this is an array. Paano natin sasabihin or how are we going to read ang array natin? So, we always start from the index 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So, we have 5 elements. And then we also have how many elements? 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So, same lang siya. We have 5 elements dito sa column natin. Meron din tayong 5 elements dito sa rows natin. So, pagdating ng ating arrays, we had what we call the column and the rows. So, if we're going to read this one, whatever value is here, ang magiging index niya is 0 and 0. So, we always start from the column. Dito tayo sa column mag-start muna. So, pagdating dito, start pala tayo sa row. We start from row. So, 0, 0, 0, and then this will be 0, and then 1. We start from the 0, our row, and then followed by the column.
So this one will be 0 and 2. This one will be 0 and 3. This one will be 0 and 4. Pagdating naman dito, this will be 1 and 0. This will be 1 and 1. This will be 1 and 2. This will be 1 and 3. This will be 1 and 4. So, ganun na siya sa lahat. So, whatever the value is inside, halimbawa, we have this two-dimensional array. Nandito, halimbawa, yung pangalan ko, MJ. Ayan. Pag i-output mo siya, i-echo mo yung elements natin na nandito, yung array natin. The index will be using our two-dimensional array that will be 1 and 2. So, ganito po yung visualization. You always start from the row and then column. So, pagdating dito sa presentation, yan, drawing ko yun para mas maintindihan ninyo. We had here, halimbawa, this will be our 0, 1, and 2 na column. This will be our row na 0, 1, and 2, 3, and 4. So, pag halimbawa, I want to get the value of the index 1 and 1, ang lalabas will be 20. So, this is an example. Wait lang, nalagay na ng example. This one. Halimbawa, ito yung example natin. How to access our two-dimensional array. So, from here, dito sa drawing ko, drawing ako sa array. Ang hirap pala nag-discuss sa array pag drawing. Ang pangit ko na drawing ko. Halimbawa, this is a Volvo. Ayan, Volvo yan, BMW. And then this is Ferrari. Ayan. So if I'm going to output the car of 00, ang i-output niya is si Volvo. Kasi yung car natin in the two-dimensional array, the index of the 0 and 0, ang content niya, element niya is a Volvo. So if I'm going to echo this one, echo car, Volvo, in stock, yan. So magkano yung pagkakasold niya, magkano yung bentahan sa kanya. Halimbawa dito yung presyo niya is 35, so yun yung lalabas, 35 million, yan. In stock, yes, wow, 45 million. So whatever value is inside our two-dimensional array, yun naman yung i-output niya. So that's how we access elements in the two-dimensional arrays. Discuss ko na lang ulit yan, pakatyawan ko na lang pag nakita ulit tayo. So we also have those what we call sort function per array. So we could sort arrays depending kung gusto natin siyang naka-ascending, we use the sort. We also have what we call the R sort for descending order. We also have what we call A sort, associative arrays naman siya, in ascending order according to the value. We also have ascending order according to the key, yung key natin kanina, and then descending order also according to the value, and descending order according to the key. So this is an example. Bali magdadagdag ka lang dito ng sort. Isusort niya siya, kasan yung example kanina, halimbawa this one, kaya hindi ko na siya dinirit para hindi na ako matagalan mag-code. Oops, Control V. So, bali dito, maglalagay na lang ako dito sa baba niya ng sort. Ibig sabihin, isusort ko ngayon yung array natin na variable parts. So, yung sort kanina, that will be sorting
the beginning or the first letter of each word of those elements inside our array. Excuse me. So I'm going to run that one. Ano ba yan? Nagtig-awak lang. Ayan. So, BMW, Toyota, and then Volvo. So, nakadepende po ang R sort natin sa first letter of each word inside our elements. Meron din tayong tinatawag na K-sort. Pag K-sort naman, R-sort, K-sort, R-sort. Pag K-sort is the original, paano yung original na pagkakasunod ng elements natin inside our array. Sort, K-sort. Meron din tayong R-sort. Kung kanina is ascending order, this will be descending order naman. So, it will start from Volvo, Toyota, and then BMW. Meron din tayong A-sort. Ascending order according to the value. So, the value here is 35, 37, and 43. Since it is an ascending order, it will start from 35, 37, and then 43. So, meron din tayo dito according to the key. So, yung key natin, ito yung key natin. So, since it is also an ascending order, it will start from Ben to Joe, and then to Taylor. According to the value. Pag according to the value naman po, ito, descending naman siya. So, we will start from 43, 37, and then 35. According to the key, ito naman, descending din siya. Kailangan ascending dapat yung una, tapos descending. So, for the machine problem, so from here, I want you to create an array. And then, from those arrays na na-input, you need to output that in descending order. Halimbawa, yun yung mga grades mo. And then, gawa ka lang ng a variable name, and then an array, and then, whatever the data that I input here in the machine problem, siya yung ilalagay mo doon sa loob ng array natin. And from that given data, you need to write a program that will output the numbers using a looping for loop in a descending order. Next. Okay, you need to consider the following data. It doesn't mean to say that you need to output or pagsasabayin mo na igagamitin or iti-test those data. Kailangan isa-isa mo siyang iti-test. But the function itself, kailangan you created those three functions. So, you're going to create three functions, the function positive number, negative number, and then the zero. So, inside that function, of course, gagawa ka ngayon ng condition inside the parentheses. What will be the condition inside that parentheses? To test if I'm going to output a positive number or an integer, is sasabihin niya or the output na lalabas sa screen natin will be a positive number. If I input a negative number, it will automatically goes to that another function with a condition na negative siya. Likewise, the zero. So, in this problem, you're going to use a conditional statement, a function, and a global scope variable. Global scope. So, etong data natin or itong variable natin, nandito siya sa labas. And then, gagawin mo siyang global para ma-access siya ng lahat ng mga function natin. So, I think that concludes the discussion. So, if you have any further clarification, question, comments, or queries, you could send a message to me in our Facebook Messenger. So, that's all for today. Have a nice day, everyone. And sana panoorin nyo itong ginawa kong tutorial. Thank you very much and have a nice day, everyone.